Alright, so this one is gonna be a bit different. I'm gonna make it more a commentary than after the fact commentary, not live. Just so I can make it a little more educational and more explanatory than, you know, just being live in the moment. Because you know, if you're drawing, you're a bit preoccupied and can't think the straightest. So right now here I'm doing a background, and something I've learned is to keep backgrounds really simple, like even more simple than you actually think. Like from that, what I'm drawing right now, you can't tell it's supposed to be a building, right? But in the context of the main piece of the artwork, that being a helicopter in this case, it'll actually kind of work. Just make it a little more complicated. You can think of it like this: the closer up, the more the object is in focus, basically, the more detailed it should be. And that's basically how you're supposed to like spend your time. Right now I'm drawing just the outline to get the proportions correct, the framing. And yeah, you can see me switching through music, which is one of the reasons why this has to be a commentary, otherwise I get sued for copyright. Yeah, this is still doing the outline, just looking up references and trying to copy it as best as possible. Again, you don't have to be super accurate right off the get-go, because you can adjust it later easily when you add shading. The rotor blades, that's something I found quite interesting because I've never drawn it before. Yeah, it's basically you try to make it look like motion blurry, like it's moving, it's got a lot of momentum and velocity to it. And I think in the end product, once I add the final shading, it looks quite alright. Now I think I'll go to shading the body, yeah. So I'll start from the dark to the highlight, I think. And again, using like where the window's supposed to be to help me visualize the 3D space the chopper is in, like what's in front, what's behind. I think you'll see it now once I've drawn the outline and everything. There we go, it already looks much more 3D. Now I'm making the glass look a little bit more see-through, which I think in the final picture adds a lot to it. The interior as well, again, making it look a little bit more 3D. The reasoning behind the color choice here is, on the see-through part, you see how the beige is darker. That's because light coming through a glass, especially ones that's designed for like aviation, is gonna get tinted quite a bit, because the glass is supposed to be like anti-glare and that sort of stuff. Now I'm drawing the actual color of the main chassis, which is in this case white. I kept the outline red for really no other reason than it's being like the top part of the helicopter, meaning it's quite bright. Again, using the grays here to kind of make it appear like the back half of the chopper is in the shadow. Just using like shadow parts and stuff again to make it 3D and kind of give me a guide on where to go. Here I'm experimenting with some colors, like seeing if the purple would work better than the gray, but I'm giving up on that. Later on I find that dark brown actually works really well with the red, which I didn't know before. So, and again, you see how I can't really fit everything in the back. So considering how little there actually is on the tail rotor, I just gave up on it and you don't notice. Here I'm using the orange to make like a kind of rim lighting, like a highlight on the edges. And here adding some more detail, the door and stuff. You gotta keep perspective in mind, that's why the second window is smaller. Again, experimenting with shades. It's something I don't do enough, and I really like it when just you experiment like on the fly and it comes out just looking much better than before. Using the gray here to add some details and then the black then to solidify them. Again, the orange, I think that adds a lot. Just that one streak at the bottom already makes it look so much better. Now I'm adding some highlights on the glass to make it look like glass, like reflective and stuff. I'm using lots of oranges and brown here because of the background. You can think of it like the background kind of dictates a lot of stuff about your picture. How bright your brightest spots are, how dark the darkest, reflections and stuff. You can see the orange on the door there, being a big one. Here I'm finding out that the brown actually looks really good with the orange. So first I'm drawing like the base color, and then I use the red and the lighter brown as sort of the highlights. And then the orange as kind of the very final thing. And again, the yellow is, in this part, the highest contrast color compared to everything, and so I use it very sparingly. And remember to undo a lot, as you can see me doing. Just draw what you think might look correct, and if it doesn't work, just undo it. I find it helps a lot, just because you can't really flip the canvas. Neither clicks a bit mehr on accident. you can't flip the canvas, so actually experimenting a lot is a great way to see what would work better or what doesn't work at all. There's a lot of glaring mistakes I find like 10 minutes after I've actually drawn it, which I would have found if I just experimented with a different color. Here I'm hitting something that I find myself not often, but I wish it happened less, is I have time left, but I don't know what to do. So again, I'm experimenting something. Maybe I can add something to the prompt, like a guy hanging on the helicopter. But I find like I don't have enough time for that to make it look good. So I just think, alright, I'm gonna write the text and experiment a bit afterwards. I think I just experiment on the text to make it look a bit unique. You can see me struggle really writing something legible because my handwriting is very bad. Again, me trying to experiment, ultimately finding that it looks awful and reverting it. Alright, so that's the game done. You see the final picture there. I actually quite like the shading. I wish I would have gone a bit more red on the top there, on top of the helicopter where the engine block is. But otherwise, I think it's one of my better ones. I tried to restrain myself from using the smallest brush too much. Whether or not I succeeded in that is up for you to decide. But yeah, I've never done those kind of step games before. I'm quite curious to see how it turns out.